So here lies our future firewood. It's a storm damage from last year, last autumn, and we got permission from the forest owner to collect the fallen trees, cut them up here, transport them to the forest road and then dry them next to our woodshed. And then we can probably use this wood in about 2 years from now. Massive bark beetle infestation. Wow. This area is really bushy. There are some smaller trees growing in between the bigger ones, and I'm gonna try and clear it up a bit. For example, here is this little one that's growing. I will cut this down and then try to open it up, try to open the area more and give the bigger trees more room. Yeah, and getting rid of trees or bushes that I don't want. Mostly rowan berries and then also some smaller alder trees that can go. And I quite like that task, clearing up some space. And it would definitely make sense to go in with a brush saw, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of power tools. I'm avoiding them as best as I can, and I also like the meditative task of doing it by hand with my little tool here, and yeah, that's just my style. And I will clear up the space under the bigger trees that are already here, and make room for the spruce trees that are growing under them, and also try to make the area more accessible for us to walk through. Yeah, this task also comes with great responsibility, in my opinion, because I'm deciding on the look of the landscape. I'm deciding which tree to cut, so it definitely comes with a great amount of responsibility, and I'm shaping the landscape here, shaping my own land, and I will know if I'm successful 10 years later. And what means successful? I mean, it's then an artificial landscape, it's not natural anymore. These spruce trees that are here, they will survive anyways. They are used to growing in shady places, in undergrowth, and they will survive. And also, it doesn't matter if there is undergrowth for nature. It's just my own aesthetics that I'm pleasing here. It's so I'm creating an aesthetically pleasing forest for myself. And it's a weird feeling. It's like, I'm deciding who gets to live. I'm deciding no undergrowth here. And I'm deciding, okay, let there be a lot of undergrowth and bushes in other areas to create habitat for wildlife and birds. So I'm the one who decides, and I know I'm not always feeling comfortable with that role of shaping nature around me, but I try to find a balance between, okay, keep it natural and also keep it pleasing to myself. That's just what humans are doing, probably. We are creating artificial landscapes all over the globe, and I'm one of them, experimenting with my own property here. Yeah, interesting thought. And then basically right next to this small area is a place that I won't touch at all. It's a mess. Well, at least to the human eye it might look like a mess, but for the animals it's a haven. They can hide here, they can build nests. For example, over there, there's a nest. There. And there's another one. So, there you go. Yeah, and I can only enter this area in early spring and then again in late autumn. And during summer I can't walk here, it's just too dense, it's like a jungle. And therefore nature has this stretch of land to itself. And also moose are coming here to forage on the bark of the trees, like here. So, and there are mushrooms growing here on the ground, and also fern and lichen. Yeah, and here it looks even more messy to the human eye. A lot of deadwood, a lot of dead branches that had fallen from the elder trees. And there are also some dead standing trees here that are already food for tree mushrooms. For example, over here, there is a nice tree mushroom. Over there, another one. So I'm not going to do anything to this part of the land. It should do what it wants to do. I personally think it's a good idea to give up some of your land and give it to nature and leave it untouched. Let it do what it wants to do. I think that's beneficial. My land is small, it's just 3.5 hectares for Finnish. In Finnish relations this is small. And this stretch of land here is about 75 to 100 meter long and maybe 30 meter wide. So it's not a big deal to leave it like it is. I'm not losing anything, in my opinion. There are other parts on the land that I could utilize in the future. There are some, the spot that I cleared now has great potential for firewood, and then also the young spruce trees will grow into firewood, and I could harvest the trees later on. You know, maybe not in my lifetime, but at least, you know, it's the value will grow by itself. But yeah, I think it's still beneficial to not use some of the land and just let it be and give it to nature and enhance the biodiversity also on the land. Yeah, and create safe havens for the animals. Yeah, humans have destroyed so much, and for their own benefit and for their own profit. I don't want to be that person that is aiming to make money off 90% of their land. I'm not that person. I don't need more money. I don't need more firewood trees here and more create value with the forest. I don't need that. What I need is more nature. And I want to go here and observe the birds. I want to come here in late spring and early spring and late autumn. I want to come here and have a look at the mushrooms and the lichens that are growing. I want to come here and see that the birds are thriving. And yeah, that has a much greater value to me. Being able to observe nature and just let it be. It feels much better to me than knowing, okay, in 30 years I can sell this for a lot of money and no. So if I guesstimate, I think there are about 40% of the land that we will not touch, and around about 60% that is useful land that has spruce trees growing, and we are tending to the forest and trying to grow good spruce trees that might have value later on. And but then there are also a lot of spots that we won't touch, and we just want to observe how it develops. It's just like an experiment a little bit, like what does nature do here? Which trees will survive? In the area that I cleared now, I made the decision which trees are surviving. And in this area where I'm sitting now, this messy, bushy alder forest, which, yeah, it really looks chaotic, and I don't know who will be the winner, which of the trees will survive. They will take care of it by themselves, and it's not my decision. They can do whatever they want. And I like that idea. That's my philosophy here about, yeah, taking care of my own land. And yeah, I don't want to monetize all of the land. But I'm also in a privileged position. People here in this area are usually, I wouldn't say poor, but it's, if you compare it to the rest of Finland, Eastern Finland is definitely a poorer area, and forestry makes up a great deal of income for the people here, and it's part of their security for when they are getting older. So I understand that most people want to utilize their land and want to sell the wood later on, and they treat it like a security for when they are getting older, for their retirement. And of course I also need to live from something when I'm older, and I'm also not rich, don't have a wealthy trust fund. I didn't win the lottery, but still I will find ways to have enough money to get by, and that's all I need. I just need to get by, need to buy food and yeah, take care of the mobility, meaning like, yeah, fueling the cars and so on and so on. Yeah. So I don't know, am I really in a privileged position to do that, to give back to nature, or do I just have a different approach? Because as I said, I'm not rich. I also need to make money, but I decided not to make money from my land. My land is serving a different purpose. My land serves the purpose of fulfilling me, of making me happy. I want to see the forest thrive. I want to see wildlife. I want to give opportunities to birds and other animals to have their home here. I want to collect mushrooms. I want to collect berries. I want to walk the land and be happy. That's the purpose of owning this land for me. And you know, and a smaller portion of the land will create money eventually, might be monetizable eventually. I don't know yet. We didn't decide anything yet. There will definitely be no clear cut on the land. No to that. Will be sustainable harvesting of the wood, and yeah, well, it's too early to decide on that, but that's the rough idea of how we are going to use the land. Yeah, long talk. Yeah. Anyways, that's my 2 cents of, you know, how I use my land, what I'm doing with the land, and my 2 cents on biodiversity and forestry.